gotta figure out placement and all that. That's done. I think the professionals be like, all right, I'm gonna give it a few minutes to let people come into the room. Or something like that. I mean, that's one of the things that's coming out of this going live situation is I'm learning the tips and the tricks and stuff that I could, should, will be doing in the future. But for now, I'm gonna keep rocking it and well, rocking out and enjoying it. And okay, Sarah, Sarah, whatever will be, will be. What's today? Today is Tuesday already. Hey, Veronica. So I was saying, Veronica, that when I joined, because usually as soon as I hit the go live button, I'm like, welcome back. But today I said, you know what? I feel like the professionals be like, I'm going to give it a few minutes for people to come in. So here you are. So I will start now. So anyway, today I was in the office and this thought ran through my mind. And it's crazy because now that I'm doing, going live, I feel like a lot of the things and thoughts that I've had over the years are um, basically coming back to me now. And now that I'm finding my voice, I'm learning how to articulate and share my thoughts. So, have you ever been in a room and immediately thought, oh no, I do not belong here? That I feel like is a story of my life. Welcome back to Antonia's Blissful Corner. I'm Antonia, and I am the Introvert Whisperer. In this space, this is your quiet space for reflection, growth, and peace. Um, so yeah, there have been so many times, and when I was in the office, I was thinking about all the times that I have allowed myself to be in spaces where I did not belong. Right? I feel like because when I was in the office, I was like, I used to feel like a third wheel, even if there was only one person there, which is ridiculous. But I also felt like a third wheel if it was a room full of people. And it did not matter if it was family, it was friends, it didn't matter. Like I've always felt like I just didn't belong in certain spaces. And I'm realizing now that it's not the space necessarily, but sometimes it's the people, right? Because if you're not aligned and if the energy and everything has to align. And I realized that that wasn't a case. A lot of time that wasn't a case. And I just didn't have the courage to leave or to say, I don't want to be here in a nice way. I would just sit there and suffer in silence. But I'm so grateful that I have found my voice because that will not happen anymore. My mom just said something, but I didn't hear. I think she's laughing at me. Hi, Cynthia. I've always felt uncomfortable and I always wished to be someplace else. Didn't matter where, as long as there were no human beings. As long as I didn't have to worry about talking to anyone or being around anyone whose energy drained mine, right? It's like sitting at a group dinner and everyone's laughing and chatting it up, and you just sitting there like, where's the joke? Like you felt left out, right? Like, is there an inside joke going on? Because they're all like laughing and hooping and hollering, and you sit on the phone just acting like you're busy. Because we really never have any plans. We're just scrolling through our notes. Because I mean, I want to say maybe like the past 3 years is when I got on social media, but the past year and a half is when I'm, because of YouTube, I'm more on social media. So I'm always, and it doesn't matter where I go, I'm always walking with my laptop, books, notebooks. It could be a ride for 20 minutes and somebody's driving. I'm taking something with me to keep so that I can use that to distract me. Um, Here's the thing though. Sometimes, because there are times when I used to wonder about, the person, like, um, like whether they were being unkind. But as I think about it, I realize that it isn't that they're unkind, right? Because there were times when I used to feel like I'm not supposed to be here. Like I felt like I was being invited out of courtesy or pity. um, but it's life, right? It's the life of a quiet person. Because I never had the courage. And to be fair, like there were times when I would not want to go and I would say, oh, I don't want to go. But then, like they would, basically beg and beg. Okay, fine, I'll go. And then I get there and I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't come. Because sometimes you feel like you're just a part of the head count. You don't feel like the invitation was really meant for you. It's almost as if like they asked you to come, because they're just trying to check, basically check off a box on an inclusivity list. And for introverts, that stings a little. Like I have felt that sting more often than I care to count. And I've joined certain groups, and when I do join certain groups, especially in the past 2 years, it's often because we finally think that we found our people, we found our tribe. Like we're almost, because I feel like we all say things like like, oh, I just want to connect with like-minded people. And you meet somebody for a day and thinking, oh wow, they don't like people too. But the reality of it is, um, I'm realizing that it takes more than a day, a week, a year to get to know people. And what I'm doing now is if I meet someone and as soon as I realize that there's something off, like there's that we're not aligned, because not everybody's for everybody. And I think that it's healthy to remove yourself from certain places and from certain people if you know that there's no connection. Like, why waste time? I don't like to waste time. Um, yeah, exactly, Cynthia. Like being in a crowd and feeling lonely, it is hurtful. And I'll never forget when I saw a meme that says introverts don't like to go anywhere with extroverts because they're afraid of being abandoned. And that is so true. Years ago, someone in the office was going to an event after work and they invited me, and I was like, and this is before I even knew the term introvert. I just knew that I was weird and that I didn't like to go places and all of the above. I don't drink, so for me it doesn't make sense to go to a happy hour or those things, because I'm gonna just sit around looking at everybody like drinking. And because the more they drink, the more the more they feel nice and animated and all that, and the more I feel like lost, like why am I even here? And I remember saying to the person, if I go, you're gonna have to babysit me. And they were like, "Oh, that's fine." I'm like, "Okay." We didn't. I think the event was canceled. Of course, I celebrated inside, because that's what we do when plans are canceled. We're like, "Oh," internally. Um, but that's it. Like and so for that, I'm grateful for my journey because I've learned a lot. We when we think that we found our tribe when we join these groups, we're thinking, oh, this person gets me, right? And the thing is, it's like, no, no, they don't. Because I feel like when we meet people, the person that you meet isn't the person that they are. I feel like we present a certain way, or the person see us a certain way. And as the day go as the days go by, you realize, oh, and there's always something. And sometimes there could be something that's just, like a tiny thing. Because for me, I realize that I don't really care to be around people who are just like super loud for no reason at all. It drains my energy. And it's not judgment. I just feel as if like it's okay for us to have preferences, right? Some people like people who are quiet and some people like people who are loud. I like people who are quiet. I want a turtle. Just saying. um anyway, I've joined communities for that reason, to connect, to learn, to grow. And while some of those spaces help me evolve, others taught me that sometimes growth means outgrowing that very group that you joined to find it, right? Because the truth is, not every like minded person will walk with you the whole way. I think we've all heard the term, that people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And it's for us to know which category. The reality of it is, it's few and far in between to find somebody who is a lifer, because we're all on a journey. And somebody may come in for a paragraph in your story, or a chapter, right? They could be a recurring guest. They could be in the end, and like in the last chapter, but not in the happily ever after. Hold on, I think I might need to. Okay. Anyway, some will only understand the earlier version of you, and that's the thing. Like I feel like when we begin to evolve, right? The person that we were yesterday, like for me, the person that I was last week is not this person. right? And who I am today isn't who I will be next week, because I feel like at each day we grow. Each each experience we grow, like, because that's life. We're supposed to learn and grow. We're not supposed to be stagnant. And so I know that for me, in the past few years, I've met people in communities, and I thought, oh, I really thought that we kind of on the same page and we have some things in common. But then after all, I'm like, no, I think sometimes we insert it just to kind of make it fit. It's kind of like trying to force a square peg in a circle. It ain't gonna fit. It's not going to fit no matter what you do. And I'm happy that I'm at this space now where I'm able to discern that, so that this way I'm not wasting my time, I'm not wasting their time, and I'm protecting my heart from being hurt. Because I know that for me, like, I think it was in 2024, I was really rocking with this lady, and we used to spend hours on the phone, and and at the end of the year, my spirit started to tell me that 2024 is going to look different. I didn't know what that meant. And I said it to her also. And then as soon as the calendar turned, like as soon as January came, my spirits had me focused. So I had no time to basically be, yapping on the phone. I had no time to be wasting. Like, I was zoned in. 2024 is when I wrote my book. 2024 is when I started my YouTube channel. Um, I don't remember if there were other things that I did, but 2024 is basically when I started to evolve. And the reality of it is, not everyone is meant to go with you. For me, I spent a lot of time encouraging people to do something. Right? I've basically encouraged a few people, start a YouTube channel. Like, what you have is so great. You can teach people. There are people out there that wants to know this information. And what's crazy is, when our mentors used to say that to us, I used to be like, ain't nobody want to hear what I have to say. I have nothing to say. Like, I don't have anything that's, so profound. But now I'm realizing that we all have a story, and we all have experiences that is shareable. Like, there is always something um that we have experienced that someone else is, because it's not just one person. I feel as if, like, there's people who have experienced the same, and they don't know that. Like, people think that they're the, oh my god, what was me, why me? It's not only you. Like, there are other people who experience the same thing. And so Cynthia said, oh my god, this is exactly what I'm working through now. See, we're aligned. Realize my desire to finally find the tribe made me tolerate more than, yeah, exactly. And it's exhausting. That's what I found, is that for me, like, it was exhausting to have, even if it's a few people, right? It's almost as if, like, it's a few people more than I need, because then I have to go, not that you have to, but then these are people that you're focusing on, or you have to consider, whatever have you, which is not a bad thing. But after a while, it's like, and so I'm happy, for these next few chapters, I'm claiming it, that they're going to be, it's going to be a solo journey. It's going to be a solo journey, because I am growing right now. I'm learning a lot, and I am anxious to see what is next. Right? I mean, I'm anxious to see, because when I tell you that people who are familiar with me, or who knew me for a while, like, they're like, oh my gosh, like, they're so happy to see how much I've grown. Right? And for me, that's a compliment. That's confirmation that I'm doing something right, because there was a before all of this, I was perfectly fine with being stagnant. I was perfectly fine with not growing, because for me, I just felt like, well, this is it. um but it's not, we're all here for a purpose. God gave us all gifts and a purpose, and it's for us to find what that purpose is and get to work. Right? So, some, again, like, some people may understand you early in the earlier version of you, the one that fit into their comfort zone. And when you start to become her, like, when or him, when you start to evolve, you're more self-aware, you're more confident, and you might not fit into that same space anymore. You might not, be the exact version that they met, while they may still be that person that you met. But yeah, I mean, I've experienced that. And honestly, when I walked away, and it wasn't because the thing about introverts, we can walk away very quietly. You won't even know that we're gone. And that's what I did. I decided to just kind of like just remove myself in a silent way. I didn't slam shut the door. I kind of did like an Irish exit. By the time they realize I'm gone, it won't even matter. Because the thing about introverts is we can pretend that we like everything. We can pretend that everything is fine, all smiles, small talk, maybe even laughter, while experiencing a slow, silent internal meltdown that it will never know is going on. Because we mask it so well. Like we basically get into spaces, we're uncomfortable, and all I'm saying to myself, never again, never again, never again. And I'm watching the time and I'm thinking, oh God, I've been here 2 hours, and I look at the clock and it's like, I've only been here 10 minutes. And it's like, oh my God, you know? It's like they're over there talking about their weekend plans, and I'm over here calculating how early can I sneak out without making it awkward or without anyone noticing. Because it's like, even that too, leaving a space. It's almost as if like we think we need permission. Like, can I leave now, master? And it's like, no. Everyone else, put an extrovert in our space. If they go someplace and they don't want to be there, they just leave. I'm out. And they're gone. And we're sitting there like, oh God, I just want to leave. And we're trying to find an excuse. At least that's my experience. That happens to me more often than I used to. Now that I have found my voice and I've built some courage, I don't think so. And you know what's crazy? One of the last events that I went to, I didn't even notice it at the time. It wasn't until I started to do these videos and like basically reflect. I went to an event, and because I go to event, if it's supposed to start at 5, I get there at 5 or minutes before. And I like that because as soon as I get there, I'm thinking, okay, time, like I'm counting down the clock, right? So if people, because people have a habit of giving black people have West Indians mostly have a habit of giving like fake time because they know that people are gonna come late. And I'm like, no, 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 give me the right time because I show up on time. So I show up when they're still trying to basically decorate or do things, cook. And so I don't mind. I roll up my sleeves and I do all of the stuff because by the time the people get there and by the time the party is supposed to start, oh, I gotta go catch my bus. I'm so sorry. Happens all the time and I love it. I love it so much. But when I was leaving an event, someone who I was close with said to me, oh man, I wish you were staying longer because I was gonna force you to talk to somebody, right? We're gonna force and when they said that to me, this is like 2 years ago. When they said that to me, I froze inside because I was like, force, and it's like, whew, whew. And that's when I realized, oh no, 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 not every space is for me. And in that moment, I had to consider, are we really friends? Because I feel like you shouldn't force a person to do something that makes them uncomfortable. I don't think it's right, right? Because I wouldn't even think of it because I would never do to someone that I wouldn't want done to me. Anyway, I digress. There have been times when I would rather walk barefoot across hot asphalt than sit through another fun group activity. I used to think that discomfort was cosmic mistake, like, Lord Jesus, did you drop me on the wrong planet? And I've actually told people that I'm not from this planet. I don't know which planet I'm from, but I used to tell people, oh, I'm not from this planet. And I would say, oh, the mothership is going to come and get me and stuff like that because that's how much I used to feel out of place or awkward or just like I would just look at people like, yeah, I'm not your species. But it turns out, it was a setup for growth. Those uncomfortable moments showed me that discomfort isn't punishment. Sometimes it's preparation. It's the universe saying, you've learned what you needed to learn here. Now it's time to move. And I feel like that's just how it is with life, right? I feel like as I continue to evolve, God says, okay, my daughter, now that you have accomplished that, now it's time for me to basically help you get to the next level. And I feel as if like that's the way that my life has been for the past year and a half. I never thought that I would be an author. I never thought I would have a YouTube channel, let alone three. Lord have mercy. I thought my t-shirt business was going to be it. But you know what? I think sometimes we count our own selves out because we have self-doubt. Like we have this thinking like I can't do that. Yes, we can. We can do anything we want. We can do anything we set our mind to. And now that Chat GPT is there to help us, Lord have mercy. The sky's the limit. So anyway, if you've ever felt like you don't belong or like you've outgrown a space that once felt safe, take that as confirmation that you're evolving. Because I feel as if like that's the thing that we don't realize is that we're supposed to be growing. That's the whole thing about life is that we are supposed to grow. We're not supposed to stay in one space. And so therefore, if there are chapters or even books that you're walking alone, be comfortable in that. I'm grateful that I know how to have fun all by myself. I don't know. I don't know if you have if I don't know if I posted it here if it was in Instagram, but I have my New Year's Eve solo party. Lord have listen, I have a ball. And I think that it is perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, I think that it's healthy to know how to basically be by yourself and enjoy your alone time. I think it's healthy to know how to sit in silence, right? I remember saying to my niece years ago because she was like, "Oh, I'm bored," and I said, "It's not." Yeah, she said she was bored, and I said, "You're bored," and I said, "That's because you're boring." Because I think that when you have an imagination, you should never be bored. And I think with introverts, because we're in our head so much, Lord, there's no such thing as bored for us. You know, sometimes we may feel a little bit lonely, but that doesn't last long. We love our alone time. So these days, if I feel out of place, I just smile and think, maybe I've simply outgrown the planet. Growth look awkward sometimes. And I tell you, there are some communities that I realize that I have outgrown, and it is indeed time to move on because you can't. I feel like, if we're busy holding on to something that doesn't belong to us anymore, if we're busy holding on to that, then we may miss out on the next best thing that God has in store for us. So get comfortable being uncomfortable in those spaces. Just be ready to say bye. Yes, Cynthia, strategic socializing. And so I in a comment said, my cousin once told me, if you have the time to be bored, you have the time to pray. Yep. I've never thought of boredom the same way. Exactly. Exactly. I just think that we have imaginations, and that's why I am grateful for the era that I was born in when, we were told go outside and play and whatever have you. Because we were forced to have an imagination. Like these children, I feel bad for them because, like they have these gadgets and they are able to use their imagination to build things. But I feel like there's nothing like having nothing, like having no toy or anything. Like, you know, back in Jamaica, we used to make dollies, using an empty bottle, and we get grass and put it in a top, and that's the hair, and then we get leaves or whatsoever have you, and that's the clothing. I mean, that's imagination, right? Like if we're playing a sport outside, we'll take newspaper and kind of like ball it up. I don't know how they did it because I was young at the time. I don't know if they might have like wet it to kind of to cut and scrumple it to make a ball. So I feel like, it's so amazing to tap into this because when I tell you, I feel like even when I'm sleeping, my brain is going like this, like with also or all sorts of ideas. And sometimes I go overboard with the things, but I'm grateful because a lot of things that I thought that I couldn't do, not only did I do it, like I crushed it, right? Take for instance, years ago when I think church is the first place because I used to do like a newsletter for my family when I was doing our family reunion and stuff, and I would, do this. It was actually a really nice magazine. And then when I joined the church, I somehow or another became their flyer person, and I would do the flyers in Word, but then I would ask someone who was very proficient in Photoshop to help me with this or that, and they were like, "Oh, you need to do this." I was like, "I don't want to learn it. That's why you're here. That's why I got you." But then somehow over time, I learned how to use Photoshop. For that matter, when people used to say, "Oh, you can use Canva," I'm like, "Canva? Oh, I know Photoshop, snob." But I'm actually using Canva more now for my thumbnails, right? So I think that sometimes we choose to count ourselves out, by using words like can't and try because, like, we don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. But anyway, I'm so grateful that you're here. So, Veronica said my Barbies wore tube sock dresses. Exactly, right? You didn't to go and buy like a new dress in the store. We used to basically just make do with what we had, and it was fine. Like we didn't think anything of it. These children nowadays, oh Lord, have mercy. Cynthia, you still use MS Paint? um, Yeah, yes, Veronica, I've grown to appreciate uh, Canva because it's similar to, in some ways, it's similar to um, Photoshop, except everything is kind of there. It's easier, and I think with Photoshop, I'm able to manipulate things better. But Canva is my go-to for my thumbnails and for little, stuff that I'm doing for posting. But the reality of it is there are tools out there that can help us do the thing, right? We don't need to hire somebody to do this, that, or the third. Um, and for me, like right now, I can't afford to hire a staff, so I find that I'm doing a lot, but I don't mind because I'm learning a lot. I have learned so much and I continue to learn so that when I can hire my staff, then at least I can say, okay, this is what I've done and this is what this is what I need. But yeah, life is a journey, and I think that it is important for us to learn as we grow. Like we should not be stagnant. If this message resonated with you, please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps this quiet corner reach more people who need it. And if you haven't already, please grab your copy of my book, Unlocking the Introvert, a pocket guide to understanding and interacting with introverts. It is available at societyofintroverts.com, Amazon, and anywhere books are sold online. So please know that sometimes the spaces that make us most comfortable are the ones that prepare us for this peace that we have been praying for. And remember, peace isn't a place, it's a choice. Please stay blissful, and I will see you the next time. Hi, Country Love! Thank you for joining. So this was I decided I wasn't going to count anymore, but I think this was day 28. I think this was day 28. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much. Love you all.